recap. Thank you so much. Good evening, fellow viewers and subscribers. Thank you so much. Of course, we have hit the mark of 300. Please, once more, I'm really humbled. Our channel is growing. Our target before the end of this month, June, at least we should reach 500. That is our target. And please, I like it that you are commenting about our voice projection, how it is coming out. So at this point in time, please remember where we ended. We are looking at whole numbers. We said the whole numbers. We said the whole numbers. If they ask you to say, can you look for, if they ask me to say whole numbers, the types, what are the examples of whole numbers? We are talking about 5, we are talking about 30, we are talking about 208, we are talking about 3000. If you can see, these are just type of whole numbers. This is a composite number. This is just a one number. So now what it is for all numbers, tolerance. It's just a reminder. We said tolerance for all numbers is always 1. And the absolute error, we said absolute error, we said always it is 0.5. Mind you, absolute error is always positive. We are saying for tolerance, as long as it is a whole number. For example, what is the tolerance of 5 is 1. Tolerance of 30 is 1. Tolerance of 208 is 1. Tolerance of 3000 is 1. Those are some of the things. Absolute error for this one is 0.5, as long as it is. So today, allow me to talk about decimal numbers, because generally or basically speaking, we are just saying there are only 2 basic types of numbers, whole numbers and decimal numbers, although we don't know that all numbers are also decimal numbers. When I say all numbers are decimal numbers, for example, if I write 5, there down there is 1. I can write it like a fraction. So now, here we go. We are saying decimal numbers, they are like fractions. So these decimal numbers, how do we find the tolerance? So how to find the tolerance? So, ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to look at how to find the tolerance. How to find the tolerance. Remember, we said tolerance is the difference between the upper limit minus the lower limit. That's what we look at. Now we are approaching the exam. So I'm going to teach you the easiest way of finding the tolerance. How do we find the tolerance? To find the tolerance, for example, for a reminder, I said for the whole numbers, tolerance is 1. Now for those people who are not there, for example, they have told me that I've got a 10 kg of sugar. So now they say find the tolerance. Find what? Tolerance. So how do we find the tolerance? Without wasting much of your time, you just say tolerance. There is no need of you calculating is equal to 1. However, for the sake of just showing you how I found 1, don't waste your time to say upper limit. So the upper limit, we are going to look at the upper limit minus the lower limit. So the lower limit, upper limit minus the lower limit. So what do we mean by saying upper limit? We add, what is the absolute error of 10? 10 is a whole number. 10 is a whole number, ladies and gentlemen. So absolute error for the whole numbers is 0.5. So we are saying we are going to look at this tolerance. So we're going to find the upper limit, it will be 10.5. The lower limit, it will be minus. The lower limit, it is, you have to subtract this absolute error from 10. So there you add, then for 10, you say it will be 9.5. So now we are saying upper limit is 10.5. Lower limit is 9.5. Where are these numbers coming from? I said the absolute error, this absolute error 0.5. The first one, you add for you to get 10.5. For me to get the upper limit, I added. For me to get the lower limit, I subtracted. This is 10.5 minus 0.5. Why? Because I'm looking for the lower what? Limit. I'll get a 9. This is where the 9.5 is coming from. So ladies and gentlemen, then when you subtract the two, you subtract the upper limit minus the lower limit. You agree with me that 10.5 minus 9.5. The answer will be here, it will be 0. You are subtracting, there it will be 1. So 1.0 is just 1. That's why I said the tolerance is what? 1 for the whole numbers. So ladies and gentlemen, this is just for a recap. And this is what we are looking at. But for today, we'll be looking at decimal numbers. Now we are saying how to find tolerance with decimal numbers. With what? Decimal numbers. So we are saying with decimal numbers. How do we find the tolerance with the decimal numbers? So this is our sub-heading. So how do we find the tolerance with the decimal numbers? Number one, to find tolerance with the decimal numbers, I want to teach you the easiest way, not the way we were subtracting even last time. I showed you the easiest way. If they have given me, for example, they say, example, we are going to look at this example. We'll say examples. The mass of salt, all of you know salt, is 24.35 kgs. Then post comma, find a tolerance. We'll be looking at how do we find the tolerance. Find the tolerance. Now, how do we find the tolerance? So to find the tolerance, rule number one, I would like you to understand me very well. Solution to this problem, how do we find the tolerance for a decimal number? You can see that, ladies and gentlemen, here 24.3 kgs, it's a decimal number. How do we find the tolerance? Simple. You write 24.3. Please, this is my method, survey method. All that you need to do is say over the whole part. This is the 24 is the whole number. I'm calling it the whole part. When I say whole part, it means these are all numbers. It is replaced by a 0. You say point. And then you are going to find a last number. As long as it is the last digit, it is replaced by 1. So my tolerance for 24.3, my tolerance is equal to 0.1. I'll give you some extra examples. For example, imagine if it was 15.254, of course, grams. Another one, they have told us that it is 142.12. Then they say, of course, centimeters. And then they ask me to say, Angel, find the tolerance. I'm saying you just say over the whole number part, 0 replaced by 0 point. You maintain the point. The question is 2 the last digit here? No, replaced by 0. Is 5 the last digit here? No, replaced by 0. Is 4 the last digit? Yes, then it is replaced by 1. So my tolerance for this number, tolerance for this number, it will be 0.001. How do we find the tolerance for this 142.12 centimeters? Ladies and gentlemen, we said you say over the whole number part replaced by 0. You maintain the point. Is 1 the last digit? No. Is 2 the last digit? Yes. So my tolerance for this one is, tolerance it will be 0.01. So how do we find the tolerance? We are saying to find the tolerance, ladies and gentlemen. For me, this is the new formula. I don't want you to be wasting much of your time. We are against time. For you to find the tolerance, you just say, okay, this is the whole number. So the whole number part is replaced by 0. The last digit is 1. So tolerance for this question is 0.1. So Mr. Cameraman, pause a bit so that I put more questions so that people should get used. Thank you.